to admit I am a sucker for comedy relief. And laughter is so important for health. And studies have even proven that laughing helps to boost metabolism. It can help with better digestion. You burn calories when you laugh. I get in the kitchen, which by the way, I love to be in the kitchen. There's just something wonderful about being behind that counter, and I have a kitchen where I can communicate with the people in the room. While I'm making food that we're all going to sit down and enjoy together, I can have conversations, and maybe that's why I love being in the kitchen so much, because it brings back memories of when I was in the kitchen and I was feeding my kids. We're sitting around the table enjoying meals together. I'm not getting emotional, not at all. If you haven't noticed, food can bring people together. We have so much fun around food. Between laughing and food, I'm in the kitchen doing this recipe that I'm about to share with you. And I want to tell you a little bit of a backstory about, I am totally jumping around, sorry. A friend of mine who is also a client of mine who went through my program, she loves oatmeal cookies, oatmeal raisin cookies. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna make you a recipe that is using super clean ingredients so that you can enjoy oatmeal cookies and them not be harming your body. They're actually doing something good for your body. Well, it's been well over a year, and here I am, and I feel so bad that it took me so long. And why? Why did it take me so long? I'll tell you why it took me so long. Because I have a grain mill. I was grinding my own wheat every now and then, and where I have to put my mill, you actually have to work a little bit to go get it, set it up, grind your own wheat. So I wasn't in the practice like I am now. So it was a special occasion when I would get the mill out. I saw her the other day and she's like, by the way, I would like your oatmeal raisin recipe. So I'm like, without further ado, we're gonna do the darn recipe and we're gonna make the video and get that out because she deserves it. And somehow this became comedy, and I had so much fun, and my son and I were laughing so hard last night it brought me to tears. And the thing that is so cool about this, the person that I made this for will align with this because she's gonna love the comedy relief. It's just her style. So I thought, wow, this just seems like it somehow came together on purpose, and it was meant to be. So I hope you enjoy the comedy relief. The actual recipe will be on my website so you can get the full, real recipe. But these cookies turned out so delicious, and we did decide to do a sheet pan, which I actually recommend. It was so much easier. You didn't have to do the cookies in batches, and just one and done. One of the things that I was telling my son last night, I said, you know, these cookies could be your granola, honestly. It's not crunchy like that, but still it has that delicious flavor that you could just sprinkle over so many things. I could also see myself taking the cookies and putting them in a bowl with milk and eating it like cereal. I would totally do that. They're just delicious. I didn't realize I was almost out of raisins, so we didn't get very many in there. I typically would have put a lot because I love the sweetness that it adds. And I almost did craisins, but it really got late last night, and I said, you know what, let's just go with the few raisins that we have and we'll just be done. This is healthier because, and I have some videos talking about the wheat, so I won't get into that a lot, but I'm fresh grinding my wheat, big time game changer in the nutritional department. There are people that think that they are gluten intolerant. Now, I'm not talking about celiacs. There are people that think they're gluten intolerant, but they can tolerate it like this. Not only that, it actually is doing good things for their gut. And then the sugars that I used are clean. They've only been dehydrated, so they still contain the nutrients, which makes a huge difference. Anytime that we eat food without nutrients, it has a negative response. But whenever we eat food that has nutrients, it makes a huge difference. Here's the recipe. Hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment. If you don't mind liking this, I appreciate everyone who subscribes. And also, if you don't mind hitting the bell so that you get notified when I have new content coming out, I would appreciate it so much. Now I've got to run these little guys in the back seat into the groomers. Leave me a note if you enjoyed this. There might be some more comedy in the future.
We are using half a cup, not 2 sticks, but 1 stick of butter. For this recipe, we used 1 cup of sucanat, but I switched it later and did 3/4 cup to reduce the sugar, and it worked out great. And then we used 1/3 cup of the honey crystals. So the sucanat would be like your brown sugar, and the honey crystals would be like your white sugar. Here's a dose of cuteness. We are using 2 eggs, and I like to bring them to room temperature before we use them. Go ahead and crack your eggs and remove any shells that might have dropped in. Begin blending your butter with the sugars and then slowly add the eggs. The next time I made this recipe, I added 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream, and it just gave it a really nice texture. Definitely optional, but I think it worked really well. Now add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla and blend until smooth. Break time.
Thank you. Cheers.
For this recipe, we are using 1 2/3 cup of fresh ground wheat berries. And so you're going to grind about 1 cup of wheat berries to equal that. If you aren't using fresh ground flour, then you will probably want to use 1.5 cups of regular whole wheat flour. In a separate bowl, we're going to combine all of our dry ingredients. So starting with 1 2/3 cup of flour. Apparently it was playtime. Don't let the hand gestures confuse you. We are using 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, or more if you're a cinnamon lover like me. Some of us just can't get enough. A 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, stir to combine, and now you're going to add the dry ingredients in with the wet. It's time to add the oats, and you're going to add them slowly.
And then we slowly start to combine the oats. Remember, it's a marathon, not a race.
It's time for another break. You're going to end up with about 3 cups of oats.
So since I did this video for Katie, I am here at her home because I had to make her some and take her some. So here to deliver the cookies.